Is Katseye's Gabriela choreography inappropriate? But where the heck is Manon? BLACKPINK concept pictures backlash, Giselle seemingly addressing dating rumors, and so much more in today's episode of Totally Legit K-pop News with me, Angelina. So if you're interested, please keep on watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with friends you don't have. I was supposed to play Genshin all day today, but there was just so much news, so I made that sacrifice for you. Let's get into the news. So Katseye released their Gabriela performance video, and there's definitely been a lot of praise. I mean, people loving the outfits, people loving specific moves in the choreography, people loving the energy. However, there's two major criticisms. One being that Manon isn't there. As we can see, there are only 5 members dancing. This led to a lot of people discussing how common this seems to be for Katseye. If we think back to their Game Boy music video, Lara was injured and wasn't able to dance. Though she was still in the music video, she wasn't able to dance with the rest of the girls. People just bringing up other instances where this has happened in the past and wondering why Hybe and Geffen aren't waiting for all members to be healthy enough to film very important content. Now, as for Manon, it seems that she had a sprained ankle, and she wrote on Weverse, "My besties, I'm literally so sad about the Gabriela performance video, but the girls killed it. I was cheering them on from the sidelines, but I really could not have done that in heels with a sprained ankle. I gotta be good for Lala. Literally did Kids' Choice Awards with a sprained ankle, and I was like, nope." So that definitely sparked a different conversation about idols having to perform while injured. But there are really two camps of people in regards to her not being in this performance video. On one hand, there were people saying that these things tend to be scheduled in advance. So if you have an entire crew, you rented a location, you have stylists, you have makeup artists, you have filmographers, it really wouldn't be ideal to cancel all of that for one member. But then on the other hand, there are fans saying, Hybe has enough money, it doesn't matter. They should be prioritizing filming OT6 content, so on and so forth. Y'all can't be mad every time one of the members are sick or injured. I get wanting OT6 all the time, but rescheduling includes the venue and other employees. It's definitely interesting, right? Because on one hand, we know what K-pop looks like when companies completely disregard members' health and force them to perform. We've all heard the horror stories. So in theory, I mean, of course, it's great that we see members being able to take a break, right? Like, we of course don't want her to have to perform with a sprained ankle. If we think back to second gen K-pop, I can't think of many instances where you kept seeing members missing from important content. And that's not to say that they were not sick or didn't need a break, but more so they were really forced to push through everything. Katseye's team doesn't have a lot of money. 2 multi-millionaire companies don't have enough money to postpone a dance video. Code's acting like a multi-million-dollar company can't spare a reschedule. So of course I'd love to ask you guys, do you think companies really should be waiting for every member to be healthy and well to film content like this? Or do you think there's just like too many employees involved, too much planning going into these things to be able to do that? I remember when I was going to see 17 and there was a lot of questions of whether or not all the members would be there if they were sick or had to go into quarantine, and there are so many other groups also experiencing similar issues. Now of course that's a different scale, right? Planning a world tour versus planning a performance video is quite different, but it's still the type of thing like the show must go on. But at what point does the show still have to go on? Like, where do we draw the line of the show having to go on before it's like, oh, 2 members are missing, 3 members missing? And this is just my personal point of view. I can imagine being part of a group in general and like this performance going viral, right? And you're like, I'm not in it. I'm not in it. That would definitely be heartbreaking, right? These are like, I would say, important milestones in a group's career. Of course, you would want all members to be there. Like the Game Boy music video, I know that Lara is still in that, but of course she's not in the dancing parts, which arguably was the majority of the music video. So even though I think fans can understand that idols do get sick, of course it can be quite disappointing, right? But let me know your thoughts. Hands off, Gabriela. But this brings us to criticism number 2, which is some people thinking that the choreography itself is inappropriate. Dare I say K-pop shocking? But Katseye aren't listen, okay? K-pop shocking can be used to describe anything, whether K-pop, K-pop adjacent or not. The spicy nature of the choreography, however, has led to some criticism, specifically because member Yunche is only 17 years old. So as we can see, there's some floor work. So of course some fans were describing the choreography as gross, inappropriate, how she shouldn't be on the floor like that. Some people saying that it made them uncomfortable to watch. A lot of people also blaming the company for putting her in that position. There were some comments in defense of Yunche, however. As an example, I've seen a lot of people bring up how her outfits tend to be more modest than the other members, with longer shorts, longer skirts. But again, of course, let me know your thoughts. This definitely isn't the first time Katseye have experienced this type of criticism, especially when it comes to Yunche. If we think back to Gnarly's choreography when they were twerking, people were quite critical of that. Even the scene in the music video where 2 flies are mating, some people thought that was inappropriate given her her age. I mean, of course, fans naturally and for good reason worry about idols in general, but especially when they're younger and doing sexier concepts. I mean, it makes sense, right? When you have idols coming forward years later saying they never wanted to do those concepts, their company forced them into those concepts. I think it's quite natural for fans to be worried, right? Of course, you wouldn't want anyone to be forced into doing concepts that they're not comfortable with, right? And the way things go, these tend to only be things you find out after the fact. But yeah, let's discuss this in the comments. BLACKPINK are releasing a music video. So we all know that they debuted their new song Jump at their concert. So let's take a look at some of the pictures. They're all wearing like a similar, I can't think, latex shirt that says Jump on it. I love this color. But it seems for these pictures in particular, some were complaining about the quality. Am I the only one who thinks the quality is bad? I was shocked when I first saw it. The quality is seriously awful. Why though? Effing pretty. They look insanely hot temperature-wise. All far so photogenic. They take pictures so well, lol. But then this photo was released. And it seems some people thought that it was badly photoshopped, that it looked like they weren't even really together. This is some of the worst Photoshop I've ever seen. I'm so sorry, but the face cards are saving this pic because Jennie and Rose look edited together and the background looks like Photoshop. Looking at Jennie's arms and Lisa's leg, this shit is Photoshopped AF. They were not in the same room. Her legs? Oh, what about her legs? You can't see. I don't know. Why does it look like someone took each one of their pics and edited them together? You know what my first thought was when I saw this picture? I was like, oh my god, finally we can replace this photo that we've been using for like 3 years. On that note, just looking at the quote tweets, look, I can finally breathe. This our next trauma pic for the next 5 years. Say goodbye. But I mean, while we're here, we can take a minute to talk about Jump, a little comeback review. Well, not yet. Soon though, but we could do like a mini little discussion about it. What did you think of the song? Obviously, we can only hear it through fan cams right now. I have to say, I thought it was very different for BLACKPINK. It's definitely not what I was expecting, but let me know your thoughts, your pre-thoughts, I guess. Because maybe you'll feel differently with like the studio version in a music video, right? Welcome to our plagiarism corner. Oh my god. This time's culprit is Manon of Twice, who is being accused of copying Jennie. Now, this is Fan War Friday stuff, okay? We're just having fun looking at similarities, so please keep that in mind. Mind you, this is not the first time I've seen these comparisons, but let's give it a look-see. Here we have Manon in this beautiful pink dress, and Jennie also wore a similar dress, but in white. The pictures that OP provided in their post included both stage costumes and off-duty outfits with dates mentioned. So then these outfits as well are similar. Do you ever wonder, because obviously we have copying accusations, but when does it veer into, I'm not saying this should happen, like God forbid people wear the same thing and get accused of dating, but I do wonder where fans draw the line with that, like when they consider people to be copying versus people to be dating, you know, like statistically. Anyways, so wearing similar, well, the same outfit basically, but in different colors, wearing the same top, wearing the same sweatshirt, wearing the same skirt, not her at BLACKPINK's concert, wearing Jennie's sunglasses. Oh my gosh. I'm obviously kidding. Aren't there a lot of overlaps between celebrities' dresses anyways? Sometimes even actresses end up wearing the same dresses. Jennie and Nayeon's personalities and tastes match well. They've been close since they've been trainees. It's not that they copy each other, but their preferences are similar, so it's natural that they overlap. Speaking as a Jennie fan who likes her friendship with Nayeon, if you had studied during the time you spent looking for these pictures, you would have already succeeded. They probably have overlapping sponsorships. Stop nitpicking over everything. Stage costumes are given by stylists, though. I'm getting flashbacks to Taeil of Blue Seraphim being accused of copying aespa's Winter. Like, you know that post? It used to come up like every couple months. I haven't seen it recently, but this is one of those things. I feel like this is a similar accusation that keeps coming up time and time again. aespa Giselle seemingly addresses dating rumors with Rise's Wonbin ? Speaking of things that keep being brought up over and over and over and over again, I'm sure you guys have all seen by now various dating rumors, or rather dating accusations between aespa Giselle and Rise's Wonbin. Some evidence included their use of the same emoji, this emoji as well as couple items, so on and so forth. You get the gist, right? But it seems that she had posted and deleted the following on her Instagram, go study or something. So fan brought up that for reference, her usual posts have short business-like messages. And apparently this is the first time she's ever posted a message like this with just a meme without a photo of herself. If you check her feed, it's all photos of herself. So basically pointing out how out of place the post was. So of course fans speculating that it must be about the dating rumors. Because the only other thing surrounding Giselle right now is her mistreatment. I've seen viral video after viral video showcasing how she tends to have different outfits. Like, you surely have heard of this before, right? How even at one of their concerts, like the other members all got like their ending fairy pose and they just completely skipped Giselle to do a group shot. Have you guys seen that? So this is the clip that I'm talking about. They cut Giselle in her own country. So we can see Karina's ending fairy, Winter's ending fairy, Ning Ning's ending fairy. And then it seemingly just cuts to all 4 members. But this was a huge conversation when she was the only one not wearing the same like shirt as the rest of the members. Just so many compilations like that, but I digress. So here are some comments about her deleted post. They already made up their minds before anything, so the people involved must be seriously baffled. I'm an aespa fan and this is the first time I've seen something like that. She's been targeted before too. It looks like people on sites like Yoshil, female-dominated forums, went so far as to dig through old posts to spread wild rumors. Then all those types swarmed and harassed her for days. They're not even Wonbin's fans, they're just people trying to bring him down. Imagine how confused the actual people involved must feel, lol. Honestly, none of us really know the truth. They could be just close friends, or maybe there's nothing between them at all. But the way she called it out, you can feel the anger coming straight from her gut. The whole thing was based on a fake connection from the start. There wasn't even anything to link them. Their vibes are totally different, so fans didn't believe it from the beginning. Giselle's super into hip-hop, and Wonbin doesn't even listen to that genre. Their whole styles just don't match. I love how in defending their faves from like parasocial fans, they're also being parasocial. Like, but she likes hip-hop. They could never be together. But I digress. You let me know what you think about that in the comments. So it's safe to say that the majority of people in the spotlight get work done. Cosmetic procedures, plastic surgery. And you know, for the most part, people are allowed to do what they want with their bodies. So that doesn't stop criticism. Though recently there have been fans who are worried about quite a few idols, specifically because they feel these idols have been pressured into unrealistic beauty standards and consequently have gotten botched work done. I'm always quite hesitant to tackle plastic surgery because I never want to shame idols. I mean, what's done is done. Sometimes it's reversible, sometimes it's not. And sometimes people like their results no matter what the criticism surrounding them is, right? But it is also an interesting topic of conversation. So I want to know, do you guys like these topics? So long as they're handled respectfully, do you think it's kind of something that should be off the table? In the last video, we talked about Katseye's Manon, how there were a lot of viral videos talking about her face, specifically to her lips. People noting in this recent TikTok, people making compilations and so on. And again, of course, people are allowed to do what they want. But I've seen a lot of comments be like, why as soon as people get famous, they start getting work done? And it is absolutely no surprise that companies heavily pressure their idols, even pre-debut, to get certain surgeries done. You have idols who have said that they had to get their moles removed, if they had to do this, do that. You see clear differences between before and after pictures, right? People have also been talking about Taemin's nose recently. As we can see, his nose has been looking quite different, as in it's more upturned. People have also been discussing Bomb of 21 in their recent water bomb performance, accusing her of having got a BBL. So as we can see in this video here, just that first clip from the side. These are just topics that I've seen a ton of people discussing. And I always wonder, like, is it worth for us to discuss it as well? I mean, we've talked about it before, but I'd just like to know your thoughts. Because I do think it's worth, in some cases, to be made aware. Be made aware that you can get certain work that is so subtle, but that still makes a difference, that is almost undetectable. And I think that's important for people to know. So that you don't think something is natural and it's not. You don't make comparisons to things that are not naturally attainable. But I think it's also super important to know that the industry itself, having to see yourself on camera, having to see yourself all the time, listening to people's comments, destroying every single detail about you, does something to you. Absolutely. And it's not even just like from a hater's perspective or from a fan's perspective. It's from the company's perspective too. Like I had mentioned before, companies being like, okay, you need to get this done, you need to get that done, remove your moles, your knees look weird, get a nose job, get your eyes done. That does something to you. I definitely think that's worth mentioning as well. If your average Joe feels that pressure to get plastic surgery, I mean, that's my addition to this conversation. So I do need to give a little bit of a warning for this next topic. We will be talking about ex-NCT member Taeil, who has been sentenced to prison and arrested in court. Of course, please take care of yourselves. If it's too much for you, I'll gladly catch you in another video. Basically, last month, the prosecution asked for a 7-year prison sentence, and this was for each defendant. As we know, they were accused of quasi. In the end, however, the Seoul Central District Court Criminal Division 26 sentenced them each to 3 years and 6 months in prison. And this was for violating the Act on Special Cases Concerning the Punishment of Sexual Crimes, Aggravated Causation. So on top of that prison sentence, they would need to complete 40 hours of sexual violence education and an imposed 5-year employment restriction at institutions involving children or adolescents. This is what the court stated. The defendants admitted to the crime, and based on the evidence, they are found guilty. The victim was in a state of helplessness due to intoxication, and the crime was committed at Mr. E's residence. The foreign tourist is experiencing significant psychological trauma as she was in an unfamiliar place. However, the court considered the fact that the defendants were first-time offenders and the victim did not wish to pursue punishment as favorable factors. This was discussed last month as well. The defendants team was basically asking for leniency because they had never committed crimes before. There are a lot of people really shocked and disgusted at that request because they were basically like, well, we confessed to the crime. We wrote a written letter that we confessed to the crime. But the court was basically saying you only confessed after getting caught, so that doesn't really count. Quote, since the confession came after the search and seizure of the defendant, it cannot be considered a voluntary surrender and thus does not warrant sentence reduction. And of course, after sentencing, he was taken into custody. So that's the official update that we have regarding this case. A lot of the responses that I'm seeing are that it's not long enough. You know, you scarred someone for life. 3.5 years is just not enough. Some people kind of not surprised. Just given other cases, other examples, they weren't expecting him to get that much anyways. Which on that note, a lot of people are also criticizing the system itself. But again, that is the official update on this case. And of course, I will have resources in my link tree if you need them. So with that, let's move on to Kpop Shenanigans, which are basically fun little things that have happened in K-pop recently and or quick news. Say My Name have added a new member to their group, Shui. ATs have re-signed their contracts with KQ Entertainment for another 7 years. This clip of All Day Project is going viral, with people commenting that Youngsu is stronger than them, that he's holding very good eye contact. The boys reveal new version of their light stick. Let's react to it together. Okay, I don't remember what the old one looks like, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. What do you think? On that note, From 9 also revealed a new version of their official light stick. Bam! And then Han So-hee also reveals the light stick. Voila. Oh, cute little butterfly. And Winner are going on tour. But yeah, I reckon that is oh no. Oh my god. No, Angelina. K-pop song of the day. I saw that Hyun released like a music video teaser and I'm like, oh, Summer Queen. And then I'm like, wait a minute. There's a song that she did in collaboration with this guy and I loved it so much. And I'm like, I can't believe I forgot about that song. Like I used to listen to it while swimming in a pool like the whole summer 2 summers ago. So I present to you This Love by Hyun and Paul Blanco. That is our K-pop song of the oh, beautiful. I highly recommend this song if you haven't heard it already. But yeah, now I reckon that is basically it for today's video. A little bonus video. I woke up this morning thinking like, okay, I'm gonna do some cleaning. More than likely play Genshin until my eyes hurt. But oh my god, there's just so much to talk about. So these are the lovely individuals who help support my channel on a monthly basis. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. And as for me, I'm gonna get going, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye!